That will tear you apart again. Hey, we won't have too much more singing, I promise. It's an uphill from here. How's everybody doing? It's Paul from Magpie247 on toonTALK. A late substitution. I'm up from the bench, but more than happy to be talking about the weekend's game. Newcastle United getting a famous, overdue 2-1 victory against Pep and his Manchester United, superstars, Galacticos. It was the Oil Classico, of course. Newcastle United, for the first time in quite a long time, edged it. And for the first time since Shearer, back in 2003 was it? A player scores a brace against Manchester City. Last time out, Shearer. This time out, Harvey Barnes. And what a result. What a performance. Who had that down? Well, quite a few of you, to be honest. You certainly had a little bit more confidence than me. I went 2-2 on the analysis prediction ahead of time. I thought we would score goals. I thought there would be a response. I thought there would be something happening after having a little bit of a break. Eddie Howe on the training pitch. I expected a response. I expected us to get goals. Did I expect Pope to make that great one-on-one save? Probably not. Did I expect Pope to maybe drop one in, fluff it across or something? Yes, I could have seen that quite easily. But to a man, I thought we were absolutely and utterly fantastic at the weekend and well deserving of the 3 points. Obviously, Pep after the game got his knickers a little bit in a twist, didn't he? But I don't think he can have any complaints, to be honest. We were from the not even the first minute. I know before we've started halves, haven't we, slowly or sluggishly, and we've had to grow into games. There was none of that. None of that from the first second. I mean, we should have been up 1-0 after 30 seconds or so. It was just an absolute signal of intent, and it was a shot across the bows. And from that moment on, we seemed to grow in confidence. We were creating chances. There was no change in formation. There was much talk, wasn't there, over the international break? Oh, Eddie's going to go to five at the back. He's going to try and park the bus, try and, shithouse something. Yes, there was some shithousery back, and yeah, I totally and utterly applaud that. I like to see it. I think it's a part of a good Eddie Howe team and philosophy and an approach. But there was some absolutely fantastic moments of quality. They got you are on the edge of your seat throughout. Couldn't take your eyes off it, apart from the people going past us all the bloody time. Sit down during the game. Stop getting up all the time. I can't see what's going on. But yeah, we were really, really positive. We took the game to them. It wasn't a smash and grab by any chance. We had many other opportunities. By half time, no word of a lie, it could have been 4-1. It could have been virtually anything. They had opportunities. Pope went a bit walkabout, didn't he? He was a bit aborigine at one point. He went for a little bit of a walk around. I was panicking a little bit then. So they had one or two chances, but we had probably the lion's share, the good quality chances. Donnarumma, what a fucking keeper he is. I mean, he probably doesn't enjoy his trips to St James's Park, but he produced some absolutely magnificent saves to keep them in it. And he's the first person, really, isn't he, to save any real chances from Big Nick Voltemada, who I thought had a good game, but Voltemada came up against a good goalkeeper who spread himself big, who got his hand, a strong hand, when the situation arose. But yeah, we weren't to be denied from the first minute. I was saying to Carl, look, they've got a little bit of that spark back. The lethargic, the slow approach seems to have gone. I was just mega impressed, mega impressed. And let's just start with the formation the team used before him, because I was looking at the bench and like, oh dear, a couple of players go out and our bench becomes literally, thinner than wafer thin ham. It was that bad. A couple of youngsters chucked on. I was pleased for Neve, to be honest, to get a little bit of recognition. He scored a decent amount of goals. He's got a few assists as well this season. So a nice reward, a kind bit of business from Eddie Howe, showing him that pathway is open if he continues his goal scoring. So I was pleased to see some youngsters on the bench, no so more than obviously Neve. But I'm looking at the team. I'm starting off. I see Nick Pope in goal. I've been an advocate for making a change in between the six. It's not anything against Nick Pope's shot stopping, but the last couple of games he's made mistakes, and it's probably a bit longer. I know this is the thing with Pope, isn't it? He'll make one or two eye-catching camera type saves, and then all of a sudden he'll fluff it across, or one will squirm through him, or something like that, and he'll concede a cheap one. And for that, I just felt Ramsdale deserved an opportunity. I thought you've got the perfect way to get in. Pope was obviously concussed following concussion protocols over the international break. So I just felt everything pointed to um, Ramsdale coming in. He didn't. And Pope had a fine game, to be honest, apart from that one slightly helter-skelter moment. But, we got away with it. We didn't concede a goal, so all is forgiven, I suppose, at the end of the day. The defence, there was a change. Botman came out, and this is my argument over Pope. Pope makes mistakes or miscalculation or misjudgments, whatever you want to call it, on a quite consistent basis, and yet retains the trust of the manager and retains his place between the sticks in the middle of the goal, if you will. Jumping now. But Sven Botman, he makes a couple of mistakes, probably two mistakes in the last two games, and he's out. So Eddie Howe has shown it that he can be ruthless, but it wasn't until when I was coming home after the game. Obviously, it's quite a trip for me to get back home, a couple of hours, and I'm sitting there thinking, you know what? It's probably good man management that he's took Sven out. He's missed a lot of football, like a year and a half or whatever's worth of regular football with the injuries, the terrible injuries that he had. He came back in, he looked absolutely fantastic this season. He's looked great. And then he's hit a little bit of a sticky patch, and that's probably to be expected. We're missing so much football. It is going to take a little bit of time, and it probably is a case of he needs to come in and he needs to go out and just get used to gradually easing himself back into it. But his deputy, if you want to call him a deputy, the experienced, obviously deputy that we called upon, Fabian Schär, he was absolutely fantastic. It did mean a reshuffle as well in the defence, because again, before the game, I was like, we're moving our best defender in his best position over to accommodate Fabian Schär. And I was a little bit concerned. I'm like, does Botman have to stay in because he can use that left foot? I was concerned. I won't sort of try and some people are sugar. Oh, 100%. That was the right call. I knew it all along. I will say I had my concerns, I had my doubts, I had my worries. Could we get away with having Shea and Chow at the back, with Chow playing slightly out of position onto his weaker side? Yeah, I've been back at home. I've wrote my lines out 100 times now. Thou shall not criticise and not think that Malik Chow isn't going to be anything less than 1,000%, because that is exactly what he played at. A definite contender when we get to man of the match for my award for man of the match. Certainly, he was totally fantastic. And no doubt today, Monday, now as I'm recording on this, as I touched upon before, as Chow gets his loose change out of his pocket and maybe gets his wallet out, I don't know, to do a little bit of shopping or something like that, he might just find that once he's rooting through there, that out pops Erling fucking Haaland, because he had him in there for the entirety of the game. This is the most in-form, lethal striker probably in the world. He's a goal-scoring machine, and yet throughout, Malik Chow literally, he might as well have had him on a lead and just took him round for a casual walk around the ground or something like that. I don't know. But I thought Chow was unbelievable. Shea, again, he comes in, quietly works away, spraying the balls out, left, right and centre. Yes, did he get away with one? Potentially, he possibly well could have. Personally, I think if it's not clear and obvious, then you don't give it. Obviously, Manchester City will be crying forever and a day saying it should be a penalty, blah, 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 blah. The referee didn't give it. And to be honest, I sort of feel that we deserved that. If Fabian Schär got away with it or not, you can debate about it. Let me know in the comments down below. Should Schär have given away a penalty, yes or no? I'll be interested to hear your comments and your thoughts on that one. But the two defenders were fantastic. But if that was the appetizer, then the main course has to be the two fullbacks. Again, both brought in three changes to the defence. It's ballsy against Manchester City. It really is off Eddie. So, again, bravo for Eddie Howe taking the bold, decisive decisions that he did. Lewis Howell, new player, new signing maybe. No, Lewis Hall on the left back side. He came back in, and Tino Livramento on the other side. And again, I mean, Tino's seen the game through. Lewis Hall came off with a little bit of cramp, but was getting all the love from where we were sat, from all around the stadium, to be fair, when he did come off. It's to be expected, I suppose, with how much football he's missed, but he looked brilliant. Both of them did. They looked as if they'd been playing week in, week out all of the time, full of energy, getting back, getting forward, getting crosses in. It allowed the midfielders and the wingers to be able to tuck in and really make the middle of the park compact. It also give the opposition defenders lots to think about. You've got Jacob Murphy, you've got Harvey Barnes there up wide, but then you've also got Hall bombing them. You've got Tino Livramento bombing on. You don't know which way to go, which way to cover. Previously, when we've had Trippier in and Burn, it's no luck on them because they're great professionals, great lads, but the age is getting on, shall we say. And they don't get as far forward, and they do like to stay a little bit back because they haven't got that pace to be able to get back and recover. So they've got to be on the cautious side, and I think it takes so much away from us when we don't have them to available. Hall and Livramento, and we've got Trippier and Burn playing there. It takes so much away from us from an attacking point of view, and it puts pressure on us because again, if you're not attacking, then you're defending. And if you're defending, there's a risk of obviously conceding goals. But against Manchester City, Lewis Hall, like I say, bombing on. Tino on the other side, bombing on. And absolutely, utterly fantastic. Sometimes you'll see Lewis Hall as well actually tuck into the midfield when he needs to. A lot of the time you'll see Hall and you'll see Livramento, and they're the most furthest forward of all of our players. And this is from fullback. It's absolutely utterly wonderful. It's great to be able to see. And this is what I was trying to explain on Sky Sports when they were saying, fullbacks, they're not that important. They're not going to, reinvent the wheel for Newcastle United. Yeah, yes, it does. In the way that we play, in the system that we seem to operate in, how Eddie Howe likes it, then fullback is huge. And I think in January and then over the summer again, we've got to look at the next level, the competition, the squad option, because we can't be all of a sudden we're missing one or two of those players, them crucial players, and we haven't got a like-for-like replacement to go in. So it has to be something that's a consideration. I think Burn will be considered more for in the centre. We're desperate, therefore, for the left-hand side. I know Tino can operate on both sides and cover, but I would like to see us get understudies, or if you like, a bit of a reverse Tino. Tino can play right back fantastically. He can do a job at left back equally also. We could do with somebody who can play on the left-hand side but can also fill in on the right-hand side when needs must. And Eddie Howe does like those players who can play a couple of positions. So fingers crossed on that one. But they were absolutely, utterly fantastic. Defensively, outstanding, brilliant. Got tackles in, chased back, put the body on the line, did everything that they needed to do. But then it's what they give us going forward, and we simply don't have an alternative for that. Then in the middle, a little bit of a change. A lot of people were again clamouring for Ramsey to start. He started, but on the bench. He went for Joe Linton, Bruno, and Tonali. But when normally Tonali's the pivot, he's the deepest player. He sort of went against that, and Bruno was playing more of the pivot, more of the number 6, if you will, role, and he really pushed Tonali quite far on. And I thought that was really, really effective. And I don't think Manchester City were ready for that. Joe Linton was back, and I said this prior to the game, and I said this again on Sky, that we needed the prime Joe Linton back. We needed the cup final Joe Linton back. I think he's had one good game this season, really, against Bradford. Again, from there, he's been all right, but he's flattered to deceive by his very, very, very high standards. But coming in for this game, Joe Linton, I thought was absolutely and utterly class. He covered everywhere. He ran, he put tackles in. He was a physical presence. He tried to dominate, he tried to intimidate, he tried to do all the things that Joe Linton does all the time, and he does so well. And I thought he was class, absolutely class. All three of them worked really well together. And yeah, Tonali, we've seen him. He can play literally anywhere, can't he, in midfield, but he was definitely more forward. And even Bruno was magnificent. He looked rested up, he looked relaxed, he looked focused, committed. He was barking out orders. He was all over them. He was like a fly round shit with the Manchester City lot. It was just absolutely brilliant and wonderful to see. And then either side, you've got Jacob Murphy, who put a couple of decent crosses in. And we saw a little bit of shithousing at the end. I like the shithousing. I do like it. Going down, he's feeling the back of his leg and he's stretching stuff out and he's tying laces. We saw quite a lot of tying laces during the game. It was great. I was like, oh, maybe we need to get Velcro or something. But then I was like, nah. It's all part of the illusion and stuff like that. It was great to see. But I thought Jacob Murphy going forward was really, really good. Did he get back and do enough? Possibly not. I still rated him at something like 78 out of 100 for my analysis rating because I thought he did a job, and I thought he did a job really, really well, to be honest. So there was Jacob Murphy, he was really, really good. But Harvey Barnes, he wasn't bad, was he? He wasn't bad. Look, first half, he should have scored two. There's no doubt about it. He could have had more than a hat-trick in this game. He should have really finished the game with four. Two glorious chances. One after literally no time at all. Then the second one, I was like, oh my, what, how? You know, normally so good and reliable in those sort of places and those sort of situations. But I don't know how he missed. I really don't. I don't think he did. He went in at half time. Eddie Howe said, look, he's the sort of player that doesn't matter if he's had an obstacle or an issue or there's been something, he will go out again and he'll back himself 1,000%. And that's what he did. The first goal, absolutely and utterly fantastic. We The second goal was again just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I'll get them a little bit because I just want to finish the team. Big Nick up top, I will just touch upon. Look, he could have had two goals on another day. He was fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and you can tell. Eddie Howe said after the game, "I'm going to get back to Barnes, by the way. Don't worry, but that isn't it for Barnes." But I just want to finish the starting team off. Big Nick, he said, look, despite the fact he's been away with Germany and he's done brilliantly again, absolute beast. I was talking to a German newspaper about him and even they were absolutely gushing over him. Can't believe the transformation since coming to the Premier League with him. But he was great. He was causing all sorts of problems. He was getting people around him. Tonali playing further forward. He was much nearer him. Because Livramento and, like Hall on the other side were getting up and about and around and out wide and stretching things. It was creating space for him. The two wingers were coming in. So the defenders, literally, the Man City defence didn't know whether to stick or twist, to be honest. And Voltemade, he was getting, a good couple of shots away and was unlucky. Should have probably got one or two today easily, but I'm happier that he's in a way he's getting the chances and missing and still scoring a boatload of goals. It means that the team are finding them more. And Eddie Howe spoke about the fact that over the international break, they've had a reset. They've been examining all of our games this season, looking at the international games, admiring the goals that obviously he scored, and more importantly, how the German team have found him, the type of crosses that he thrives upon, the situations, trying to get him more in the box and staying in the box, which he did a heck of a lot more in this game. So they've said, look, since he's been away, they've used a Stig type character to represent. I'd be ashamed it wouldn't have been Dan Burney, it would have been an obvious pick, but he was away with England. But the players who've stayed have been working on situations and on set plays, and they've been working on shape and went across to get the best out of Big Nick. And I think, in this game, yes, he didn't score, but we saw plenty of great stuff from Nick Voltemade. So really encouraged about that. The fact that he's missing and scoring is actually a good thing because that means he's getting lots of chances, more chances, and the more chances he gets, the better because he will score an absolute and utter shitload of bloody goals for us. He's absolutely fucking class. Did you see the Germany goal? Brilliant. Absolutely and utterly brilliant. But yeah, getting back to Harvey Barnes, second half comes and you always do. There's generally at least a 5-10 minute lag when we come out in the second half. And I was like, look, we can't afford to start cold here because they will be all over us. They're fighting for the title at the end of the day. They're a great side, great manager. But yeah, Newcastle United, we take the lead. We just sort of like, I don't know, grab the game by even a greater, scruff of the neck. And we're going at it and we're non-stop. And we get the breakthrough, which thoroughly deserved. Harvey Barnes, I was over the fucking moon for him. And yeah, Gordon should be sat at the sideline taking notes. He really, really should, because Harvey Barnes just shows you work, determination, correct attitude, never give up, never say die. And yeah, he was absolutely brilliant throughout the 90 minutes. And yeah, first goal, a great strike, and it had to beat Donnarumma. I mean, he's absolutely class. He mustn't love coming up to St James's Park because he hasn't had a great time, has he? But yeah, you just got to hold your hands up. The noise inside the stadium, and I want to commend that. Look, under the lights against Manchester City, form pretty dog shit, to be honest. It's been all right at home, hasn't it? But even in the wins, they've not been great performances. But the team give you something to believe in today. They really, really did. The first goal goes in. and you think the roof's going to come off. Everybody's jumping up and down, hugging each other, dancing, singing. It was just great, absolutely great. And then you think, here we go, we've got something to hang on to. But this is Newcastle United. We never do it the easy way, do we? And literally, I barely sat down in my seat. Yeah, barely sat down on my seat. I'm sitting there thinking, it's getting a little bit cold. I might get the old gloves come out. Um, put the gloves on, and then probably 30 seconds after that, didn't feel very long at all. Bang. Um, it's a bit like pinball. You're saying, look, keep it tight, 5-10 minutes, keep in your shape. We've got to see that through the next 5-10 minutes, and bang, they equalise. And absolutely gutted, absolutely gutted. But it didn't deter us, didn't deter the crowd. Their goal literally came, two Newcastle players throwing themselves at it, and he literally finds a postage stamp of space to get the bloody ball through, and bang, it's in the back of the net, and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, man. Frustration. But to be fair, there was a bit of a collective, oh, for fuck's sake, around the stadium. And then all of a sudden, it's Newcastle, 1,000% behind the lads, because you've got to reward. Look, they've gone for it. This is one of the best teams in the world, one of the best strikers. They've got some great players, and their substitutes bench could make a great team. So, you've got to take this into consideration. So, literally, a collective, for fuck's sake, type job. And then, not 10 seconds later, the entire noise, you couldn't hear the Manchester City fans again, again, travel in numbers and travel with noise, respect to them. But, yeah, again, everybody inside the ground, barring the Man City lot, right behind Newcastle United. Again, we kick off, and we're like, look, we've just got to do it again. Continue what we've been doing. Come on. Got to get something out of this. And you're sitting there thinking at the time, look, even a draw is still a great result. But I tell you something, the fucking players didn't think that. They were after the 3 points. We talked about lines in the sand, and this may well be. That defeat last time out may well have been, again, for the second season in a row, Brentford being the line in the sand, because we literally went about it possessed, creating other chances, getting the ball out wide, getting the ball in, the ball comes back out, shit refereeing, again, yeah, standard. But the ball keeps coming in. We're trying to make the opportunities. We're trying to work it out loud. The fullbacks are bombing on. The wingers, putting crosses in, causing all sorts of stuff. The ball comes in, literally head on it, bang, straight across the crossbar. You're thinking, for fuck's sake, are we cursed or something? And then it comes out, and it's wrestled in, and it's pushed in, and it's whatever way you want to describe it. It was a bit of a Royal Rumble moment for all of you old school sort of wrestling type folk. It's a bit of an analogy for you. Lots of bodies, lots of arms and legs and all sorts about. But the person who mattered most in it all, Harvey Barnes, staying switched on, focused. You could have been pissed off with hitting the bar. I think the fans probably like, oh, for fuck's sake, come on. Just absolutely praying and trying to drag the ball in. And then Harvey Barnes, yeah, he sticks it away. His second goal. At this point, he could have had 3. He should have really had 4 goals in the game, but I'm delighted for him. And the noise inside St James's Park was absolutely and utterly fucking unbelievable, off the roof. Nobody was expecting us to take the lead once. But twice. It's like Christmas has come early. I'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah. And then from there, you're expecting a definite reaction. Lots of changes from Manchester City. He's throwing the kitchen fucking sink, Pep from the side at it, trying any and everything to get back into it. A couple of times throwing themselves under the floor and stuff like that. But Newcastle United staying really, really calm. I didn't really think any time after that we were in grave, grave danger. Lots of shithousing. Taking the time, if the ball comes to you and it's going to go out for a throw in, it's already crossed the line and knock it back. And mate, is it? Are we get? Yeah, and all of this sort of like just things designed to eat up a couple of seconds, drop to the floor, shoelaces. Yeah, hamstrings a bit tight, a little bit of cramp. I need the physio on. Pope catching the ball, not just catching the ball, then looking to lob it out because let's face facts, we don't want him to kick it out because he's fucking useless at it. But no. Rather than just get on with it, dropping to the floor, taking again an extra couple of 5-10 seconds, eating away at the clock. Great management, great seeing it out. Eddie Howe, he hasn't got much on the bench, as I touched upon before. The bench was way thin with quality and alternatives from the attacking third, certainly. But, we take Big Nick off. We have to play a Langer up top. Willett comes on. Everybody plays their role in getting the points. And that's a crucial thing to say. It's a team effort. You know, everybody, and I mean everybody, was at least very good, if not excellent or class. Again, on Finalysis ratings that I did, I had some 99s given out, 98s, 97s, 95s. The lowest was 79 with Murphy, which is like ballpark of 8 out of 10, really, by comparison. So to a man, I thought we were absolutely great. The midfield was brilliant. The midfield bossed it and won it in lots of ways. The fullbacks bossed it, won it in lots of ways. The defence is tight as a duck's ass. Brilliant, fantastic. Limited them to very few chances. And when you consider the opposition that we're playing is great. I know we're two Champions League clubs, but with the budgets and the look that they had with the takeover when they had the takeover, to see the game through like we did. And again, you just have to look at Bruno's face at full time, the passion. It was all there. It was all on display. It was all of that, and then so much more. Pep coming on, throwing his toys out of the pram, was a little bit unexpected. Normally, Pep is a class top bloke, but look, Pep's having a go at Joe Linton. He's having a go at Bruno. He's clearly upset. He knows in the scheme of the season, it's a big defeat for him. Pep's even having to go at the bloody cameraman. I mean, what's he done? He's just took the pictures, but he's literally taking his headphones off and having a go at him. I expect him to get into trouble for that, to be honest. It's not a good look for the Premier League, is it? But massive, massive, massive relief at the end of the day. And now it's just about, some people say, oh, we turned a corner. I was quick to say, no, 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 we haven't really. If we can do this and get a performance, maybe, and a result out of Marseille, if we can do this and get a performance and a result against Everton away, then yes, you've got more evidence of the fact that we've turned a corner, whatever that means. I've heard a lot of that. I think it's too soon to be able to say that, but what I will say is that performance took a lot of cojones, yeah? And look, it took a lot of bravery, a lot of concentration. It was a fantastic game plan by Eddie, his first victory over Pep, whether that be at Bournemouth, I think, or Newcastle United. He's never been able to, mastermind a victory over him. He did that. The monkey's off the back. Massive, massive 3 points. We historically don't play very well against these. We don't get results against these very, very often. I mean, over previous years, there've been close games, haven't there? The 2-1 defeat, I'm referring to, the 2-2 as well. But to get the victory was absolutely and utterly massive, and it does spark life into the season. An extra 4 points we've got to make up, and you're sort of looking at the European positions, and that's where we need to be. Ultimately, we need to be finishing in the European positions. So it's certainly a shot in the arm. It's a confidence boost. It has made my weekend. I said to the missus, as soon as I got out, there was Christmas trees up all around St James's Park, up at the foundation building and stuff. I took a picture of the Christmas tree, and I was like, yeah, Christmas come early. The presents have been delivered. Christmas has come early. I said, you can tell the kids we can put the Christmas tree up very, very shortly. I said, I can't say it further than that. I was absolutely over the moon, virtually doing cartwheels all the way back to the car. It was unexpected. It was pleasant. It was great to see the game plan. It was even better to see the players stick to it. And the performance that they did was absolutely and utterly fantastic. Malik Chow, unbelievable. What a signing he has been. Thank you, Milan. You're so generous. Tonali and now Chow, two great players, churning out great performances. So thank you very much for that one. Again, the fullbacks, Lewis Hall came off, but it was just with cramp. He should be okay for what's coming up. Fingers crossed, touch wood. The midfield, all three of them worked brilliantly. The balance was just brilliant in between all three of them. Out wide, I mean, Barnes, unbelievable. A brace, could have scored more. Even Murphy did a job. And on the day, any other day, that would have been a great performance. But considering the company that he's keeping, and again, Nick Voltemade, he was spot on. Absolutely top draw up top, playing perfectly. So again, totally full of praise for every single one of them, and the substitutes who came on. Yeah, wasn't a great bench, we were missing, your Vistas of the world. You're missing Gordon, who was there or thereabouts, being able to play in this game. I think he'll be back from Marseille. I'll touch upon that in a minute. But then you've got the experience of Trippier, who we saw was a massive miss against West Ham, if you recall and remember on that one. No Emil Kraft. There was no Harrison Ashby, who I thought might have come into consideration given the fact of the injuries and stuff that we had. So again, missing quite a few players. The bench looking way for thin. The team sort of semi-picked itself, but still Eddie Howe made some bold choices. He's sticking with Pope, Botman out for Fabian Schär. These are all big calls, and he got them right. You've got to say that he got them right. And I'm absolutely delighted. So I've started this week with a massive smile on my face. It makes such a difference when Newcastle United do great. The page was bouncing. 10 people got the correct score right on the giveaway that we do prior to the match, kicking off. Lots of people went for 2-1 and got it right. I went 2-2. Nearly right, nearly there. I learned my lessons, and I'll come back better, I promise. Now, the games, like I say, are coming as thick as as thick as the average Macam, to be honest, but thick and fast. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock kickoff in Marseille. Lots of Newcastle United fans are out there already. I hope everybody stays safe, follows the club advice, and we get through this one A-OK. It will be a difficult assignment. Marseille are in literally red hot form, not maybe so much in the Champions League, but in the French League. They're doing well. They're up there competing with PSG for the title. Won, I think 5-1 was it on Friday. They will be a difficult examination, and I expect there to be changes. There's got to be, with the games coming so thick and fast, and a huge game against Everton coming up with the whole Anthony Gordon circus. So I'll just basically go through what I'm thinking, and again, let me know what you think down below in the comments. I think there's got to be changes. I think there will be changes. Now, Pope will stay in goal because that doesn't change. Let's just make that clear. It won't change until the League Cup game that's coming up against Fulham very shortly. But yeah, Pope will be in goal. Across the back, it depends on Trippier. We don't know the severity of Trippier's injury, and nothing's been said about Emil Kraft that I can find. If Trippier's fit and available, you would expect him to come in. If not, we may well have to still go with Tino Livramento. Now, I'd like Tino to play every single game, but we have to be careful and manage his minutes after missing out, 7 weeks of action. In the middle of the defence, I think there will be changes here. No, Eddie Howe loves Dan Burn. He probably has a little picture beside him and gives it a kiss every night before he goes to bed. He loves Dan Burn, doesn't he? Dan Burn was suspended for the Manchester City game. Again, also explains the bench, doesn't it? But I think Dan Burn comes in for this game. I really do. So I think Dan Burn comes back in, and I think Sven Botman will come back in. Now, it's how you go about the left-hand side of the equation and the problem. Do you go and play Dan Burn at the back alongside Sven Botman? You could do that. Personally, I think with Hall coming off with a little bit of cramp, I think Hall will be on the bench. I think he'll be okay, be on the bench. I think Dan Burn comes back in at left back. I really do. I'm sorry. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. That's just my gut instinct. If you think differently, please let me know. But I think Burn will be at left back, potentially Trippier or Livramento at right back, and in the middle, I think it'll be Chow again and Sven Botman. I think that's how we're going to go. And I think during the game, I think you'll see Fabian Schär coming into the fray to take over, probably from Malik Chow, to give him a little bit of a breather, so that, again, we're rotating the squad round as much as possible and trying to protect everybody as much as possible, as much as we humanly can. In midfield, I thought Miley not coming on against Manchester City was rather telling and rather key. I think Miley does come in. I think we may also see Willock, who came on and looked all right, to be honest. Looked all right. Nothing brilliant, fantastic, and, but okay. Really okay. So I think we could well see Willock and Miley, and then one of the others, potentially Bruno, because Bruno likes to play every single minute of every single game, and then your Tonali's of the world will drop to the bench. Joe Linton as well, potentially. And then you're looking at further afield, and again, question marks, possibilities. It's so difficult to sort of guess where Eddie Howe is going to go with it all. But I think up top, I think he was there or thereabouts against Manchester City, and I think he was kept back with this game in mind. I think Gordon starts up top. I honestly do. Noah Sula for the next couple of games. Nick Faltamata cannot physically play every single game, or you're going to affect his output. I think he will be on the bench for this one. I think we start with Gordon up top. Again, let me know down below. If you think something different, please do let me know down below. I think out wide, I think he will go with Anthony Alanga as well. Again, he come on as a substitute, as a striker. Did a job, put a shift in. Can't say fairer than that. And then wide left, I think you've got to continue with the red hot form that Harvey Barnes is in. He will play, but again, I don't think he sees the game out. Whether you bring on, you could bring up Ramsey out there, perhaps. Could he play Ramsey on one side, on the left hand side of things to freshen it up? Elanga, and then Gordon. I'll probably go for that. It's going to be about rotation. You know, Saturday night, recovery day Sunday, they're traveling Monday, they're playing on Tuesday. You know, it really doesn't give you much opportunity to be able to play your very, very best team. It's about the squad. It's about making sure that we keep players fit and okay. So that's probably what I'd go with. Maybe, you know, it's a little bit square peg and round holes, but he's going to have to go with something like that. Or Joe Linton, perhaps Joe Linton could go out wide left, and you could play Ramsey in the middle and change around one of the other starting midfielders. Maybe Willock drops out, Ramsey starts, and you play Joe Linton out wide. There is opportunities, there is things that we can do, but mark my word, there will be rotation for this game. Because I think Eddie Howe knows that the league position, although better with that shot in the arm, we really need to get this monkey off our back because it's becoming a topic and a narrative we haven't won since, I think, April. So the longer that goes on, the more the media make a huge thing about it, the more it worries supporters. So I think that he will rotate for this game, knowing that he's got the comfort of it. Well, first of all, it'll still be a good team and a competitive team, you would imagine. There'll be a game plan, of course. But you've got the comfort blanket of knowing that if you weren't to win or if you were to get a draw, you're still virtually there anyway with a draw, I would say. But a win takes you there, pretty much guarantees you into the next stage of the Champions League. But you've got the trip to Germany and you've got, oh, we've got a trip to PSG. Oh, God. But yeah, I tell you what, we did well last time there, didn't we? And got robbed. But we've got that PSV home game, and I think that's the insurance policy. I think that's what you can bank on, really. We should be looking to beat PSV at home with the greatest of respect, obviously, to them. Bit of a Bobby Derby, that one, isn't it? So I think Eddie will know that he's got that PSV game there. I think 12 points takes you through. We've got 9 there. We need 1 victory out of the remaining games. If it wasn't to come against Marseille, there is some other games to be able to get that victory, to get them points on the board, and to get us through to the next stage of the Champions League, which would be magnificent. It would be a great achievement. It really, really would, because it's not easy with the level of competition that you're up against. But look at this Marseille game, first of all. I think we're capable of getting something out of it. A draw, a victory, what that will be, let me know down below. And then I think you keep the majority of the lads back for the Everton game. And like I say, get the monkey off our back. Try and get some more points out of that game. It's not somewhere that we generally do great, as in Everton. And obviously, no, we haven't played at that stadium before. Not that daft. But yeah, we can make this an absolutely fantastic week by getting something out of the Marseille game and taking it to Everton. Try and beat Everton in your own backyard. Why not? First time that we're going to be there, why not make it an absolute memorable time? But we'll get to the Everton game possibly later on in the week. Delighted about the bonus 3 points against Manchester City. Looking forward to the occasion and the opposition, the noise, everything else like that for the Marseille game, and then Everton on the horizon. But yeah, unbelievable. Unbelievable. What a couple of days. Manchester City at home and then Marseille away in the Champions League. Like I said, I just hope everybody says, okay, there's no bother, there's no aggro, there's none of that crap going on. And there's a great game of football. And hopefully we're talking about more points for Newcastle United at the end of the day. I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to go on too long. Like I said, it was a bit of an emergency substitute today. Always want to make sure that the podcast comes to you each Monday all the way through the season. That's the plan and that's the aim. Normal service will be resumed very, very shortly, where myself, the rest of the team at Magpie247, Kyle and Ian, the normal host, will be there hosting it, doing the normal thing. and talking about the club that we all fucking love. Just a little bit of housekeeping before the very, very end. If you can hit the like, if you can put a comment down below discussing any of the points that I've said on today's video, appreciate that massively. And hit the subscribe. We are trying to sort of push the YouTube side and get it going a little bit and get the account with, you know, a decent amount of followers on and a decent amount of views and all that sort of thing. 224,000, unbelievable, in the Magpie 24/7 community, and I think we're sitting at about 2.5, 2.4 on the YouTube side of it. So we would like to get a little bit more, grow the channel a little bit, and then we can put more videos and get more people involved, and bring you different types of content, maybe some match day watch alongs, some more vlogs. We're going to the Champions League game in Germany as well, so we'll be vlogging all of that. Lots of sort of, you know, experience of what it's like on the Champions League away days, all that sort of good stuff to come on Magpie 24/7. So yeah, hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost anything, but it means a heck of a lot to myself and the rest of the lads at Magpie 24/7. And I'll leave it there. So in the meantime, take care, keep it tuned, and I'll speak to you later. toonTALK Extra, why not? Listen, this is myself and Kyle before the game, before kick-off on Saturday, just outside St James's Park, with our thoughts on what was at the time very much uphill, difficult assignment.
And so we're back in the Premier League after the international break. Newcastle take on Manchester City tonight in the second later kickoff. So there's a later kickoff at like 8 o'clock, but take on Man City, and the team is out. So it's as follows: Pope, and then you've got Livramento back in, and then you've got centre back partnership with Chow and Cher. Hall back in at left back, Joe Linton, Bruno, and Tonali in the middle, and then Murphy, Barnes, and Walter Mara leading the line. So yeah, my thoughts on this team is, the initial standout is definitely Hall and Tino. Seeing them back in is like a revelation. Hopefully we can get forward and get some crosses in for Walter Mara today. I feel, seeing the team, I feel a lot more confident because we've got like fullbacks that are, you know, like they're able to get forward and cause problems that way. And then as well as that, you've got, I probably wouldn't have started Joe Linton. I would have probably looked to start Jacob Ramsey or maybe even Miley. But I do understand that you want that physicality in the middle of the park, because Man City do bring that, and you need to be physical with them at times. The front three I'm quite happy with. No Anthony Gordon in the team as it happens, so I think he may be out with an injury still. But I wouldn't have been looking to start Gordon at all if he was fit. So the front three I'm quite happy with from the get-go, and yeah, get Walter Mara some service. I think that's the key. Yeah, we need to get him in about it and get some goals. That's the main thing today. For me, in terms of predictions, probably the optimist in us, but I think we can go and win this one to start and turn the season around a little bit and get amongst it. So it's going to be a tough one, but we'll go from there. And yeah, hopefully we can get 3 points.
So it's Newcastle United taking on Manchester City, and thank fuck it is at home, because if it was away from home, I think we'd all be saying this is a complete and utter mission impossible, no hope scenario. But we go with some hope. It's at home. Previous games against Manchester City, 2-1 and a 2-2 recently, gives me a little bit of confidence to think that if we get about them, if we bring our A game, if the players are committed, full of blood and guts and thunder, then, you know, we are capable of getting something out of this evening's game. I'm not absolutely stupid. I know if they get the noses in front, if we don't start, if we start sloppy, or if we drop off for a significant portion of any of the game today, we can be absolutely numbly smashed. But I've confidence. Eddie Howe has had a little bit of an opportunity to do some coaching with the non-international players and the players who came back early from the international camps. And I'm talking about Tonali and I'm talking about Elanga as well. So hopefully everything being taken into consideration in our dire need of points, that all taken into one. Like I said, 2-2 is what I'm going for. If Newcastle United turn up and they're at 98% and below, we will lose. But if we go there and give them a game and take them on, and don't make stupid decisions and make silly mistakes and throw the ball in the back of the net. If we don't do any of that, we're capable of getting something out of this game. There's no doubt about it. As much as I respect Pep Guardiola, I think Manchester City will be champions this season. I think they've got a better manager than what Arsenal have. I think they've got better players than what Arsenal have got. And I think that better management, the better setup at the Etihad will get them to win in the Premier League this season, because I think there will come a time when Arteta, as he normally does, fluffs his lines. But back to the game this evening. Who do I want to see starting? I'd like to see Ramsdale playing, obviously. I'd like to see Lewis Hall back into it. If we go to stick with this 4-3-3 formation, I would like to see a double pivot in the middle to offer a little bit more protection, and that would be Tonali and Lewis Miley. And then I'd be pushing further up Bruno so that he can be more effective in that final third, getting the balls down the channels and also getting shots away, because we do not, well, we just don't. We don't have enough shots on goal. So I'm hoping that we see a positive Newcastle United today. Will Gordon be back? I would suggest he probably would be, and if he is fit and available, he would likely start. He does like the big games. This is a big game, so putting 1 and 1 together, hopefully, we will see the best, the prime Anthony Gordon today. I would like to see as well Harvey Barnes continue his link up with Nick Valdemada on the other side. And apart from anything else about selection, and will he go 5 at the back, will he go 4 at the back, will it be a bit of a trying to throw a tactical surprise? I don't know. But look, Eddie Howe's record against Pep isn't great. Newcastle United's record against Manchester City isn't very good. But if we can get everything right, if we can show the best side of ourselves, then we're capable of getting something out of it. So I'm trying to look positive. I'm looking forward to a special atmosphere at St James's Park later on as well today. Under the lights, will that give them a little bit more of an edge? The crowd behind them, will that be able to affect the game? Hopefully. I've got everything crossed. We're desperately in need of some points. The league position isn't good enough, to say the least. It's concerning. Yes, we're only 5 or 6 points off 5th or 6th, but we're much nearer to the relegation spaces. And I know it's still early days, but it would be nice to get some points, to get some momentum, and to get a little bit of positivity back around all the fans. If we can have a good performance today, we can take that into the game against Marseille, and hopefully a draw, or how good would a victory be in one of these 2 games? But if we get draws out of them and then take on Everton, try and get this away day hoodoo done, but that's for another day, and then start to look up, hopefully with 1 or 2 more players coming back into the fold as well. Livramento isn't a million miles away, but I can't imagine he'll start today. But possibly could we see him against Marseille? Fingers crossed he'll be back soon, and fingers crossed we'll get some positive news on Johan Visser as well. So to sum up, feeling quite positive, feeling good, looking forward. Obviously blessed to have got tickets, to be honest, because they're so hard to get to watch Newcastle United these days. But with all the respect in the world for the opposition that we are going to be playing this evening. So yeah, my prediction, I'm going to go for it, stick my neck on the line, because Kyle won't. He doesn't do the predictions. But I'll go 2-2, and let's see what happens, folks. Another 2-2, the repeat of a couple of games before.
Half-time thoughts from inside St James's Park from myself and Kyle, sat in the old strawberry corner after we watched a goalless first half between Newcastle United and Manchester City.
It's been an interesting half. I think both teams could have had an argument to be 2-0 up. Both teams have had really good chances. Waldemar had a really good chance saved by Donnarumma. Barnes had a really good chance that he put wide, but Foden's had an amazing chance to put it wide. But I think it's going to be a game of who takes the chances, mate, for sure.
Hopefully, I don't want to curse this, I really don't. Look, we've been shite in the last couple of second halves, in the last couple of games. I don't want to curse it. I don't want to keep giving them gifts. I don't want to give away a sloppy goal. I have been quite encouraged, to be honest. I didn't think we'd create as many chances as what we have. But we just need to be very careful about doing anything kamikaze at the other end. It has been, like you said, 1 or 2 warning signs on another day. he doesn't miss that opportunity. They had the one early on as well where Pope just went on a sort of like Aborigine type walk about. I don't know what he was thinking then. But look, 0-0 half time is Man City, who I expect to probably be Premier League champions at the end of the campaign. I'd have took that.
Yeah, I think it's been an interesting half for sure. We've just got to make sure we're quite tight at the back and make sure we're not leaking any chances. But I think we have had a couple where but we'll force the issue a little bit more. Hall and Tino being back, like Hall at left back,
Fucking class.
we've got Hall as a left back. We've got a left back that can run forward. We've got a left back that can cross a ball, and we've got a left back that can do skill and get the ball forward. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
I know. I mean, the circle is round, all that sort of thing. The wheel is round. Look, I'm still telling you now, as an exclusive spoiler, right? I'm telling you now, you know who's going to come back, don't you, against Marseille?
Yeah.
Dan Bird, he'll be back, left back, against Marseille. But look, encouraging signs in the first half.
For sure.
Reason to be optimistic. Everything crossed, not counting our chickens because they are a quality team with loads of individually quality players. But
Yeah.
look, we haven't played badly at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So encouraged.
And in the games that we have lost at home this season, it's Barcelona, Arsenal,
Liverpool.
in Liverpool as well. We've fell a bit short in the second half, and we need to be on top of that in this half and learn from those mistakes and take our fucking chances, because it is one of them where it is going to be a moment of quality that wins the game, and someone that's going to stand up and be counted.
And hopefully as well, second half, the referee brings his cards with him and maybe his contact lenses as well, eh?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't know what they are, so we're like come up with a goal kick, but it's there to be won this game, but we'll see it, make sure we're there defensively, but game's there to be got at. Let's get 3 points. How are the lads? Come on.
Onto myself and Carl's thoughts at full time at St James's Park after beating Manchester City 2-1.
Finished at St James's Park, Newcastle United 2, Manchester City 1. And by fuck, we needed that, didn't we? What a win that is. I mean, second half we came out, it was 0-0 at the break. And yeah, I just think I think the team rallied and they needed to. And fuck me, Harvey Barnes. What a player, man. I mean, he's a player I've always rated, and yeah, he can dip out in and out the team at the minute, but a couple of weeks ago, I was like online, we need more from our wingers and stuff. Harvey Barnes last few weeks for Newcastle's been outstanding. He's been amazing. And he's been consistent as well, and taking his chances, and what a fucking finish that first one was. Brilliant goal. Like, Donnarumma made a couple of really good saves throughout the game. He wasn't fucking saving that one, was he? Fuck. Brilliant goal from Barnes to put 1-0 up. And it was a crazy 10 minutes, really. It was a bit like when we beat Man City in the Carabao Cup a couple of years ago, where it was kind of a cancel each other out type game. And then there was just 10 minutes of absolute bedlam, and it was crazy. But yeah, in that 10 minutes, we've managed to come out on top. They've equalised quite quickly, and we've managed to go up the other end and get the second goal quite quickly. And I think that surprised Man City. I don't think they expected us to go and get a second goal in the game. I think once they got back in it, they thought they were going to kick on, and they were surprised at how we bounced back from that. I think we're forced into changes in terms of the way we're set up in the last 10 minutes, because Hall went off, limped off. I think it looks like precaution. He didn't go straight down the tunnel or anything. But speaking of Lewis Hall, I said it at half time, we've got a defender that can move. Like, no, I'm not throwing shade at Dan Burn, but he's not left back at the end of the day. And like it helped it. And you look at how well Barnes played as well, having Hall on the overlap and stuff like that. Like a brilliant performance from him. Tino as well, absolutely outstanding today. And I was saying it to Paul, just as like we're clapping off the players and stuff, the season's got to fucking start the night. Like, we've had a bad couple of weeks, and it's been a worrying time and stuff in terms of our league form, but the season starts tonight. It's got to start the night and kick on. All the results were great for us today in terms of like Liverpool got humped, the Magpies got beat as well. So in terms of every result that of teams that us as fans dislike at the moment, Then they got beat, and my keys just dropped. What rude. But in terms of the results that would want to go our way, they did. So yeah, I think it's it's such a relief, honestly. Like, because going into this game, I'm like, maybe we can get a point if we play well, and it was mostly about the performance for me today. And there was bits and parcels of the game where we did gift them the ball a little bit, and it was a bit thingy at times, and they did have chances to score goals, but it's a foundation to kick on now. Like, that is a start, and it's a Newcastle United we haven't seen this season, where they've had to dig deep, and they've managed to pull it out the bag by digging deep. So yeah, it's a perfect way to bounce back, and we've just got to keep it going now. We're obviously next up on Tuesday night, at Marseille against top of League 1 Marseille. So that should be a tough one. But we're in a good position in the Champions League to be able to go into that feeling like we're confident and we can pick up something from there. But the big one's obviously got to be Everton. Got to go into the next week at the Harry Hill Stadium, whatever it's fucking called, and we've got to go there, and we've got to have another good performance. If we have the performances, that it'll come as well. But like in terms of individual performances, I've mentioned a couple. I was surprised, like I say, at the start, I was surprised Joe Linton started, but it was a really solid performance from him in terms of his physicality. And then obviously you look at other things as well. You look at other players. Malik Chow, I mean, he just pocketed the best striker in the world currently, without a pick of bother. He was physically sound. Really dealt with Haaland really well, and he was man for man as well. Like, Haaland has been the better of, like, Sir Gabriel and that this season in terms than some of the best defenders in the world. So honestly, that 30-odd million for Malik Chow is looking like an absolute steal. And yeah, I mean, he's definitely been our signing of the summer, and that's a tall order in terms of like Walter Mara coming in and everything as well. But yeah, I mean, absolutely brilliant win for me. And as I said, the season's got to start now for Newcastle. We've got to kick on, and it's got to be our time to get up that table. And obviously going into Marseille in a few days' time, in a good position in the Champions League group, but obviously getting Everton in a few days. That's where in a week. That's where we need to get the win as well. So it's been a really good result today. A lot of positive performances and a lot of positivity all round as well. Happy to see, and yeah, good 3 points. And cheers everyone.
To say I wasn't expecting that was an understatement. Head said a heavy defeat. The heart said, a positive, battling, gutsy type draw. In the end, I was fighting either, to be honest. But yeah, I suppose I got we scored two right. But Newcastle United more than deserving. Look, when the chips are down, you've got players injured, you've got Murphy at left wing back, you're changing formation. We're missing a whole host of players: Gordon, Visser, Trippier, Lascelles. The list goes on and on and on, but you cannot fault the commitment, the determination and the concentration. Playing against such high calibre opposition, Manchester City and their sort of endless spending, they haven't been shackled. When they won the lottery, they won it big time with no PSR, no FFP, no considerations to try to wind them in and try to stop them spending. We have to do it under the new ownership with one hand tied behind our back. We're having to do it on a budget. We're having to do it against the odds. The referees, week in, week out, shocking, giving absolutely terrible decisions, taking an eternity looking for a reason to rule out our winning goal. But look, we were not to be denied. You cannot argue against the team spirit in the camp at Newcastle United. We saw that at the end. A little bit of tasty afters, I think, involving Pep and possibly Bruno and Joe Linton from where I was sat. It was going on quite a way away, but look, they're together. They're a band of brothers. It doesn't matter how many of them drop down, they will keep going and doing everything for the shirt. It hasn't shoved us massively up in the league, but what it has done is put some important points on the board. The home form isn't that bad. We've only lost against Liverpool and Arsenal, where we shot ourselves in the foot, and Barcelona, a 2-1 defeat against them. And today,
I thought we deserved the 3 points in the end of it. I don't think Manchester City did enough. They did a lot of complaining, throwing the arms about, falling on the floor, relying on the referee. But, you know, I think we were worth it. Harvey Barnes with a brace. And, you know, others could learn a great deal from Harvey Barnes. Great professional, great lad. Keeps working away, keeps grafting hard, does what's needed, whether it's on the left, whether it's on the right, it doesn't really matter. And yeah, what a fantastic reward for the lad today. 2 goals, 2 massive goals for us, and 3 hugely significant points. Yes, it affects the title race, but we've got to look after our own. We're not now 3-4 points behind Sunderland. We're playing them shortly. They lost today, we won. Liverpool were absolutely and utterly humiliated. They're only just above us in the table, and we've had the start of the season that we've had. We've not won away since April, but today it's all about the home form. It's all about St James's Park. The atmosphere was fantastic, electric. The fans singing throughout, under the floodlights. The players seemed to step it up. They were putting tackles in. They were making passes and finding where it needed to go. The long balls were coming off. I thought Cher and Chow at the back were fantastic. A shout out obviously has to go to Hall and Livramento. And I was on Sky recently and they said, oh, fullbacks aren't that important. You know, they're not going to score your goals and create your chances and this, that and the other. Well, Mr. Sky Sports News, I totally beg to differ, because the difference that it makes to us with our 3 midfielders being so tight and in the line and quite central in the match, it does allow for our fullbacks to get bombing on. They're so athletic, they're so energetic, getting up and down, defending, attacking, getting crosses in, trying to make things happen. Both Hall and Livramento outstanding. Hopefully Lewis Hall just went off as a precaution. It was a planned thing. He did go down, but I don't know if that was to do with a little bit of shithousery, which was, you know, certainly made a welcome return today at St James's Park. Murphy dropping down, tying laces, kicking the ball out, you name it, just to take away and eat away a few seconds. Pope actually catching the ball, and that's not being talked about enough. Catching the ball, then dropping to the floor and just taking up and absorbing a few extra precious seconds. It was backs against the wall for, you know, parts of the second half, but, you know, I'm not going to complain. We don't have a great record against Manchester City. Eddie doesn't or didn't have a great record against Pep. Pep is a very, very talented, great manager. Manchester City have an abundance, an array. They're overflowing with quality footballers. But we found a way to get the points. We needed the victory. It's a massive week, some big games, and we've started it in the best way. I'm over the moon. I'm delighted. The missus is over the moon as well, because the Christmas tree is getting put up tomorrow, I think. Happy days all around. Delighted for Harvey Barnes. Delighted for Lewis Hall. Delighted for Tino Livramento. Loved the atmosphere. I thought everybody put a shift in. Bruno, Joe Linton as well, Sandro, some quality corners as well in from Sandro Tonali, which was nice to see as well. You know, it could have ended anything, that game. It really could have. They could have scored 1 or 2. We could have scored 3, 4 or 5 in the end. So it could have been one of those crazy batshit crazy games. But in the end, it finished Newcastle United 2, Manchester City 1. Massive victory for us. Hugely important 3 points. Takes the pressure off and just sort of, yeah, you could feel the belief and the relief around the stadium as well. It was absolutely and utterly, you could taste it in the air. Nobody left before the full-time whistle was blown. If I had hair, I'd have been pulling it out. 8 minutes stoppage time and we still continue to play on. You were getting sort of post-traumatic stress disorder type moments, thinking back to Liverpool at home and Arsenal, where we shot ourselves in the foot in stoppage time. But that wasn't to be today. We have learned the lessons, it seems, and we have got the 3 points. It's a happy drive back home now for me for the next 3 hours. I should get in at about 11ish, but I shall be coming in absolutely bouncing around, over the moon and delighted, and no doubt I will find a box full of tinsel, some Christmas lights to unwrap, and the Christmas tree sitting there waiting for me, as well as the missus and the kids. But happy days. I'll leave it there and pass it back over.
Thanks for watching, and toonTALK back next week at the exact same time, Monday, with your host Ian and some of the other lads from Magpie247.
Join us Monday for toonTALK, the Newcastle United podcast from Magpie247.